Fears continue to grow that the war in Gaza could turn into a wider regional conflict. A day after Friday's drone attack on Tel Aviv, Israel carried out retaliatory action on Houthi rebels in Yemen, hitting a refinery and electricity infrastructure in the port city of Hodeida. This is the first time that Israel has struck Yemen. That's according to Israeli officials. At least 3 people were killed, 87 wounded. Houthis, in the aftermath, had said they had targeted Israel's resort city of Eilat with multiple missiles. But earlier this Sunday, Israel said it had intercepted projectiles fired from Yemen. This, of course, Houthis acting in solidarity with Palestinians. Meanwhile, Israeli forces pounding Gaza on Saturday, killing at least 39 people. A Gazan medic said among the dead were local journalist Mohammed Abu Jasser, his wife, and 2 children. Israeli tanks also advancing deeper into western and northern Rafah. A ceasefire effort by Qatar and Egypt and backed by the U.S. has so far failed due to disputes between Israel and Hamas, who blame each other for the impasse. For more, let's cross to Jerusalem and speak to ABC News foreign correspondent Jordana Miller. Hello to you, Jordana. This morning, the Houthis claimed they had hit targets in Israel. What more do we know about their response and the risk of escalation?
Well, first of all, the Israeli army says they shot down incoming fire outside of Israel's airspace using the Arrow 3 defense system. So, there were no strikes that hit Eilat. We have seen the Houthis throughout this war, really, perpetuate lies about the success of their attempted strikes on Israel. There have been many times they say they've hit and they have not, because almost all of their missiles and drones have been intercepted either by the Israelis or by CENTCOM, which is why the Israelis reacted so strongly when that drone penetrated through and killed an Israeli in Tel Aviv, prompting this very harsh response in Yemen. We have learned moments ago that the Israeli Prime Minister will not be leaving today for the United States. He has moved his meeting with the American president to Tuesday, and that means that Netanyahu is going to stick around for another 24 hours, likely because the situation is volatile. I mean, we saw the Houthis try to respond. Hezbollah put out a statement in support of the Houthis, but stopped short of saying that they would respond. But the region is, really on high alert, and Israel has increased its aerial defenses really on all borders and from the skies.
Protesters in Israel holding these demonstrations every Saturday, Jordana, calling on Netanyahu to accept a ceasefire, others calling on him to resign. Now, there's pressure on him mounting before he leaves for Washington. A meeting this morning in Israel about this latest ceasefire proposal. What are the chances of making progress or reaching an agreement?
I think it's very unlikely we'll see an agreement reached before Netanyahu heads off to Washington. We did hear Secretary of State Antony Blinken say he believes the parties are, within the 10-yard line and heading for the goal. But I have to say, from the vantage point of Jerusalem here in the region, that seemed overly optimistic. We know that the Prime Minister has put some Israeli demands back on the table that were taken off months ago, including the Israeli army staying along the Egyptian-Gazan border, what's called the Philadelphia Corridor, as well as the strip that Israel created that really cuts the Gaza Strip in two, the Netzarim Corridor, where Israel now, according to Prime Minister Netanyahu's new demands, will want to be checking to make sure that no armed Gazans return to the north. And with those demands, we understand Israel has revised the draft deal, and that now has to go before Hamas and get a response. So I don't think we're going to see any kind of dramatic breakthrough before Netanyahu heads off to Washington. I want to add one more really important point, which is that the Israelis are now saying that there are growing signs that their strike, their very dramatic strike more than a week ago, did indeed kill Mohammed Deif. That's Hamas's number 2 leader, the head of the military wing in the Gaza Strip. And that will tip many people believe that will tip the political wins in favor of Hamas leaders outside of the Gaza Strip. People like Ismail Haniyeh, who are more interested in cutting a deal and having the movement survive this war than staying for a do or die moment, which is where Yahya Sinwar appeared to be positioning the movement. So that may create more momentum towards a movement, towards a deal, a ceasefire deal. We'll have to wait and see.
All right, Jordana, thank you very much. Jordana Miller reporting from Jerusalem.
Thanks.
Thank you.